Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Barricaded TV. I am Ngry Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines. Buhari meets Emefiele, Tambuwal Bagudu over Naira scarcity. Katsina massacre, you make mockery of your people. Uriwa slams Buhari. Buhari Emefiele to tear Nigeria apart with recorded Naira scarcity. New Naira note, bank schools horribly closed as riot escalated. Lawless Nigeria police operatives open fire on residents. Fuel cash scarcity, protesters barricade beneath Lagos Expressway. Again, gunmen attack UCPP spokesperson. Students escape death as classroom block collapses in Cross River. To the next headline, bankers captured scaling the fence to flee from angry customers amid scarcity of Naira notes. On foreign, death toll surpasses 5,000, Turkish president declares. Finally on sports, Serie A club Inter Milan prepare bid for Adara Bioyo, a Nigerian descendant. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has met privately with the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Aminu Tambuwal, and the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Atiku Bagudu, over the scarcity of the new Naira note. Also in attendance at the meeting was the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bawa, as well as the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor. The meeting held at the President's office at the State House, Abuja. The meeting originally scheduled with the Nigerian Governors Forum was cancelled for reasons not clearly stated. The presence of the CBN governor, however, gave indications that the meeting was organized ostensibly to discuss the cash swap policy, which has for days elicited public outcry, particularly from the governors. It would be recalled that the president had on February 3rd met with the governors of the All Progressive Congress APC, and some of the governors had asked the president to intervene to allow both the old and new note to co-circulate to ease cash crunch recorded across the country. The president was said to have cancelled it in view of the court order forbidding government from extending the February 10th, 2023 deadline for the swapping of the old Naira note. Moving on to the next story. Human Rights Association of Nigeria, Uriwa, on Tuesday lambasted President Muhammadu Buhari over his persistent failure to secure the lives and properties of the citizens nearly 8 years of his administration. Uriwa, in a statement made by its national coordinator, Emmanuel Onwubiko, said the presidential campaign of the All Progressive Congress in Katsina on Monday, despite the killing of over 100 vigilantes in Gamji village, the Daiki ward of Kankara local government area of the state, is height of insensitivity by the ruling party. The group said if the APC is sympathetic to the plight of the people, the party should have suspended its campaign in Katsina with the unprecedented killing of over 100 vigilantes by bandits in the northwest geopolitical zone, saying campaigning while people are mourning is a mockery of the sensibility of the indigenous. The group also scolded the president over the redesign of the new Naira note and new deadline of February 10, saying the scarcity of new Naira notes has led to the death of at least one customer who slumped and died after hours of waiting in Agbo, Delta States. Still on the Naira scarcity, Dumebi Kachiko, the African Democratic Congress ADC presidential candidate, says the scarcity of the new Naira bank notes poses great threat to Nigeria's peace. He also lamented that difficulty in withdrawing old notes is frustrating lives and childhood. Mr. Kachiko worries that the large part of the North don't have bank branches and e-banking support. If this is bad enough, the most political central bank governor in our nation's history seeks to plunge our nation into further chaos. How else can one explain this ill-conceived Naira redesign policy that ought to strengthen the value of our currency, but now threatens our very existence as a nation? The ADP presidential standard bearer added My heart broke as I watched the videos of those who stripped naked in banking halls, all in a bid to collect their own money. How do you speak of cashless banking in a country plagued with epileptic telecom networks and bank blackouts? Who is deceiving who when many parts of northern Nigeria don't have bank branches and lack the infrastructure to support e-banking? Was this not factored into the CBN governor's plan? The presidential hopeful stressed that Nigerians did not deserve further hardships, especially at a time when fuel was also not available in many parts of the country to service humans' needs. Moving on to the next story. Banks and schools in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, are abruptly closed for the day as residents in different areas of the state trooped out to protest scarcity of the new Naira note. Bankers were seen on Tuesday rushing home from their respective banks in Okilewo, Abeokuta to avoid being caught up with the anger of the protesters. Platform Times gathered that some agitated residents have set some areas in Chapon, Adaton, Ashero ablaze, protesting the scarcity of the new Naira note. It was also gathered that Zenith Bank has also shut down its activities nationwide due to the protest by irate Nigerians. Also, some protesters were seen at the First Bank in Lafenwa, Abeokuta, agitating as they destroyed the automobile teller machine in the bank. Platform Times also received a dispute call from a school in Abeokuta, Noble College, alleging that some police officers have thrown tear gas canister into the school premises during the protests. Moving on to the next story. There is riot presently in Ondo Obantoko area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, as trigger-happy policemen disrupted and opened fire on a group of aggrieved residents protesting the ravaging fuel and Naira scarcity in the country. Videos obtained by Sarah reporters showed how a police van drove roughly through the area and lawless policemen shot into the air as the protesters camped for safety. There is apprehension as several shops have been deserted while the lawless policemen forcefully dispersed the protesters. Information earlier reported that some angry Nigerians also blocked the Benin-Ore highway in Ondo State to register their displeasure over the scarcity of Naira notes and fuel scarcity ravaging the nation. The protest, which caused gridlock, made travelers plying the routes stranded. A cross-section of the protesters attributed their actions to the frustration being faced in the banks and filling station. According to videos seen by Sahara reporters, the protesters also defied police presence as they marched along the highway. And to the next story. The spokesperson for the coalition of United Political Parties, Ikenga, Ugo Chinyere, was on Tuesday attacked in his residence barely 3 weeks after a similar attack on him in Akokwa, Imo State. Information reported that on January 14th in Akokwa, in Imo State, gunmen on motorcycles invaded his house, burnt his houses, cars, and killed his uncle and 3 others. Ugo Chinyere, the House of Representatives candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the Ideato North and Ideato South Federal Constituency, then raised the alarm about the attack by the gunmen at his residence, calling for help. On Tuesday, Ugo Chinyere raised another alarm of attack by armed men in an SOS message he sent to journalists on WhatsApp. He said, SOS, we are under attack again. My house is under attack again by armed men with explosives and heavy gunfire. Sources said the latest incident has thrown panic among members of his campaign team. Efforts to reach the spokesperson for the Imo State Police Command had not been successful as of the time of filing this report. Moving on to Cross River States. Several students of Community Secondary School, Bumaji, Boki local government area of Cross River, have escaped death as a 6th classroom block collapsed. The incident happened on Monday evening as the students were playing games inside the classrooms after classes. The cause of the collapse was attributed to erosion, which had eaten deep close to the foundations of the classroom blocks but was ignored. One of the students, who gave her name as Mary, said they heard a big bang when the roof and part of the walls caved in. We were playing as we were dispersing from our classes when we heard a loud crack sound. The next we saw was that the walls were falling apart. Fortunately, we all ran out before it fell down. To the next story on the world news from Delta States. A video that captures the moment bankers from an unharmed Nigerian bank scaled a fence to flee from disgruntled customers had gone viral. This comes in the midst of a cash scarcity crisis that has plagued the country since the redesign of the new Naira note. It is no news that Nigerians have been experiencing cash shortage as the Central Bank of Nigeria pushes to replace old note with newly designed currency note. This has left many stranded, and some have been forced to pay a 10% fee to withdraw money from the POS service point in some parts of the country. Several videos of bank customers causing a scene in banking halls as they demand for their money have also gone viral on the internet. Amid the chaos caused by the cash-strapped economy, some bankers were filmed scaling a fence to run away from angry customers. The bank officials were seen climbing a barbed wire fence to escape from the bank premises in a trending video which was allegedly filmed in Delta State. A video to complete the story.
Gently, Shogbo. Gently, gently, gently. Just move gently. Gently, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Nothing. Just chop with your leg. Gently. Bele. Okay. The Delta patrol team don't come. Neka, the Delta patrol team, where are they? Where? Let me then, they there now.
Let them come first.
Let them come. Where are they?
And they need to be here.
No, the Delta Hawk patrol team, they don't come.
Mopo, now we go to come.
Delta Hawk soldiers, they don't come.
They don't come.
Don't go.
Delta Hawk don't come. No, it has to be fast.
Okay.
You don't need to be slow, fast. Therefore, the major thing is for us to go through that place. Just go gently. See, there's no time. Just go. You are safe. Just go gently. No, we'll carry this thing. We'll even carry something. Say, gently, Neka, gently. Neka, here, you'd have given them the bag. Here, you try yourself. Careful. Where the Delta Hawk? Yeah, carry that in, eh? How you want to turn them upside down, Abi?
Welcome back. And to foreign story, Turkey's President Recep Erdogan has declared 7 days of national mourning following devastating earthquakes that killed over 5,000 people and toppled buildings across southeast Turkey and northern Syria, Al Jazeera reported on Tuesday morning. The media house noted that authorities fear the death toll from Monday's pre-dawn magnitude of 7.8 tremor, followed by a magnitude 7.6 earthquake, and several aftershocks will continue to climb as rescuers looked for survivors among tangles of metal and concrete spread across a region already suffering under Syria's 12-year civil war and the refugee crisis. Rescuers searched through the frigid night into Tuesday morning, hoping to dig more survivors out of the rubble as those trapped cried out for help from beneath mountains of debris. Turkish Vice President Fuat Oktay said on Tuesday that death toll from the earthquakes in Turkey had risen to 3,419. Altantar, an official with Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, said earlier on Tuesday that 20,426 others were injured. Tatar said more than 5,700 buildings have also been destroyed. In Syria, at least 1,602 people were killed, at about 3,500 others were injured, according to the Ministry of Health and White Helmet Rescue Organization. Finally, on sports. Serie A giants Inter Milan are targeting the move for full-arm defender Tosin Adarabioyo. The Nerazzurri are looking for a new defender, with Slovakia international Milan Skriniar set to leave for League One club Paris Saint-Germain this summer. According to TMW, the former European champion sees Adarabioyo as a replacement for the departing Skriniar. The Nigerian ball defender was courted by a number of Europe's top clubs during the winter transfer window. The 26-year-old contract with Fulham runs until the summer of 2024. The centre-back has scored a goal in 14 league appearances for Fulham this season. That ends the world news this hour. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari meets Efiele. Tambuwal Bagudu over Naira scarcity. Naira, I beg your pardon, you made mockery of your people. Uriwa slams Buhari Emefiele to tear Nigeria apart with recolored Naira notes. New Naira note, banned schools hurriedly closed as riots escalate in Abeokuta. And finally on sports, Serie A club Inter Milan prepare bid for Adara Bioyo. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Barricaded TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Barricaded with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Barricaded _22. For advert placements for goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Only God can save Nigerians from the hands of the Nigerian politicians. Stay blessed. I am Morire Rebila Lawal.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.